Hello and welcome to the B Plus Players. This is your host, Scumbag Mike, along with my tag team partner, Mitch, over here. And this week, we are going to be doing a quick preview of the Ring of Honor pay-per-view coming up this weekend for Wrestlemania that they're doing. It's Supercard of Honor. And we're also going to be taking a look at NXT Takeover this weekend. That's going to be a nice big show that they got. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Ready to talk some wrestling.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. We'll start off with the Ring of Honor card. We'll start at the bottom of the card. We have Silas Young and the Beer City Bruiser versus the Kingdom minus TKO Ryan.
Yeah, it's out with injury. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a good start to the show. You know, you got some really good talent in there. Silas Young always seems to be on top of his game when it comes to in-ring stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of those people I said last time we were here that always seems to impress me, and I forget how much I really enjoy his in-ring work that he does.
Yeah. And Matt Taven is just really good in the ring. I mean, he could do some very, very good things, especially coming off of all the injuries that he has. To still be able to do that is pretty remarkable.
Absolutely, and they have a good comedy element with Bear City Bruiser, who's like a big guy who kind of just carries around like a little mini keg all the time, and him and Vinny Marsala will be the comedy element in that match because Vinny always tends to take a little bit of a comedic role in his matches.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bear City Bruiser kind of reminds me of the old security guard, quote unquote.
Ralphus? Was it Ralphus? I know who you're talking about.
That's what I always get.
That's with his shirt cut a little too short for him, so his gut hung out.
Yeah,
missing teeth and stuff.
Yeah.
That's actually a very good comparison. Yeah, no, that's going to be a good match. I don't know if that's going to open up the card or not, but it seems like a good starting point for that.
Like they always try to do. They always start a little bit, like, I don't want to say slow, but with a good fun match.
Yeah, something to bring the crowd, get them into it without, like, exhausting them too much at first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you think's going to go over in that one?
I still think that they're going to make... They're not giving up on the Kingdom even with the injury, so I think that they will definitely take that. I don't think Silas is going to get pinned. I think this is a clear fall for
Bear City Bruiser. Yeah, he doesn't really have much going on. I agree 100% on that one. I don't think that... I think Kingdom has a lot of momentum going on, and they kind of got faulted because of the injury to TKO Ryan's leg, but I think they're going to just keep rolling the ball with them. Up next, we have Kazarian versus Punishment Martinez, which looks like it's going to be another very interesting match. It's going to probably be a good way for Punishment Martinez to get over on someone who has a lot more experience in the business. It's one of those matches where you get to put someone who's been in the business for a long time with someone a little bit younger and fresher.
Yeah, I do think that this will be sort of a coming out party for Punishment. Even if he doesn't win, he's going to look very good in doing so.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, looking good and losing. But, I mean, he's going in with Frankie Kazarian, who's been around the block. I mean, it's not some, no name that he's going in with. Probably the biggest name that he's been one-on-one with in his career for Punishment Martinez, that is. But, yeah, I think this will be a good match. I think it'll be a good back and forth. I do think Kazarian, I don't know about you, but I do think they're going to really build him up a little bit. I think Kaz will come out on top in this one. But it'll be a very, very good match.
I'm actually going to take the opposite side on that one. I think they're going to go with Punishment Martinez. I don't think the loss would hurt Kazarian too much. I think that he can come off strong, maybe do a roll-up on the tights or something with Punishment Martinez winning. But I think Punishment Martinez needs a big win.
I didn't even think of this, to be honest with you, but I could definitely see maybe some Bullet Club interference.
Yeah.
That'll help Punishment pull out the win.
Not to say that Punishment would side with them, but just...
No, just without his knowledge, maybe he's out, knocked down on the apron or something, or he's getting tended to by the ref, and, out comes, say, Hangman or something like that.
Yeah, getting a little bit of retribution for what happened at the anniversary show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be another good, hard-hitting match. Punishment Martinez always has a lot of interesting stuff that he pulls out of his pocket. He's one of those guys that surprises me because he's so young and seems like he knows a lot of what he's doing and has a lot of good experience in the ring.
Yeah, and he can do a lot of different stuff in the ring for a man his size.
Yeah, he's very agile, but he also has a lot of power behind him and stuff, so that's going to be good. Up next on our list is probably the spot fest of this night.
Absolutely.
It's going to be Will Ospreay and Volador Jr. I believe I'm saying that right. Volador Jr.
Tongue twister.
Yep. Going up against Jay White and Dragon Lee. And Ospreay and Dragon Lee are just spot monkeys. They're always flying around doing flips and stuff. And Dragon Lee really brings... And I'm not too familiar with Volador Jr.
Yeah.
But I know he's a lucha. I know he comes from CMLL, so I know he will probably be almost the same style as Dragon Lee. I know Dragon Lee he's a little bit more matured in the business, so he's...
Yeah, I agree. I think this will definitely be a spot fest. It's going to be a fast-paced match. It's not going to be a lot of, slow rest holds or anything like that. That's not really their style. Nor I don't even think we'll see not one in this match.
Especially since it's a tag team match, they can get their little couple seconds to breathe by laying out on.
Yeah, and especially with Ring of Honor too, they're a lot more lenient in the whole tagging in, tagging out thing.
Well, they go by sometimes they go by the Japan rules, especially if they have somebody from New Japan there. Which, for those of you who don't know, the New Japan rule is if you roll out of the ring, your tag team partner is allowed to go into the ring. Yeah. So. That's why you see a lot of
kind of like how it happened in the last pay-per-view with the 6-man match.
Yes. Yep. So I think that's kind of a toss-up, but I'm going to put my money on, I would say, Jay White and Dragon Lee, only because Jay White, I think, needs a win. He's been on kind of a roll lately, but I think he's one of the young up-and-comers that's really getting the spotlight put on him, because a lot of talent's leaving Ring of Honor, and has left, and I think they need to push some of the young talent. And the crowd really seems to like Jay White. He's really like your white meat babyface. So
I couldn't agree more. I think that is who will end up getting the win for his team. I do think that they're going to push Jay White a lot. Maybe not right away, but he is picking up some steam here.
I could see a TV title run with him in a couple months or so.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't win, just being in the program, in a feud with whoever at the time would be the TV champ. So I do think that the Dragon Lee Jay White will end up winning that spot fest.
Absolutely. And that's going to be a fun, high-energy match.
Yep, absolutely.
Up next on our card, we have the Briscoes and Bully Ray versus Hangman Page and the Gorillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga and Tonga Ray, I believe. And
another tongue twister.
I know, got all tongue twisted up there. At the time, it doesn't say that it's for the 6-man tag titles, but I believe it might actually end up being for them. If it is, I could see Briscoes and Bully Ray going over in this match. I think this will just kind of be a brawl type match. Gorilla of Destiny and the Briscoes and Bully Ray are known for their brawling ability in the ring. I think it's just going to be a mess, like the best kind of car wreck that you can see.
Yeah, I do agree. It's going to be stiff.
Yeah,
it's going to be a stiff match. Yeah, I think all 6 guys are stiff, even with Hangman Page. He's not the most finesse guy in the
Absolutely.
ring.
Hangman Page is one of those people that personally don't give enough respect to. Like, I know he's very good, but for some reason he just kind of blends in. Like, he's probably the weakest member of the Bullet Club to me.
It seems like he never wins.
Yeah, I
he's
feel like
always the Bullet Club member that takes the loss.
Yeah, I feel like he's. Yeah, you're right. He's just the one that takes the loss all the time, and I don't really see why, because he is a good in-ring talent, and I think he just might need to work on his mic skills. And that's saying something, because Ring of Honor, they're not necessarily known for their mic skills, but when somebody goes on the mic, they always shine. Like, you have your Christopher Daniels, your Adam Coles, your Jay Lethals, and like the more they go on the mic, they shine. And I think Hangman Page in the Bullet Club just doesn't stand out because he's not as tough and brutal and stiff as the Gorillas of Destiny, or as good on the mic as Kenny Omega or Adam Cole or the Young Bucks, and they all have so much charisma, and I think he just kind of falters in that.
It seems like he's very good at things, but he lacks in something great, and that's what a lot of other members of the Bullet Club bring. Like, they all have something that they're great at.
Yeah, and it's weird to me, like, this is getting really meta here, but I feel like Adam Page might not necessarily fit into the Bullet Club, like, personally. I feel like he's always, like, the one that kind of stands out, so much so that, like, when we've seen some of these guys in the restaurant, and we saw Adam Cole hanging out with the Young Bucks, and when you see all those guys hanging out all the time, you never see Adam Page with them. Yeah. And I feel like he just doesn't
It kind of seems like he's only in the Bullet Club so that they can still take some losses.
Yeah.
To really propel some of the other guys. I think it would be most beneficial for him, because I do like him a lot, if he were outside of the Bullet Club. If he, maybe not, have like a high profile leaving, but just kind of phase him out of,
It's not how the Bullet Club works. You get jumped in, jumped out.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true. Who do you think is gonna take this one?
I said the Briscoes and Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Probably Hangman Page takes the fall, like you said.
Yeah.
What do you think, though?
I do. I see, it going the same way, especially if it's for the titles.
Yeah, if it is for the titles.
I
don't see why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, it's true. But again, it doesn't have it.
On the Ring of Honor webpage, it's not listed as for the titles.
I do see Hangman Page getting kind of like what we saw at the pay-per-view. That Davey Boy Smith. No, it was War Machine that took one of the guys from War Machine took the 90 as they dubbed it.
It was awful. Rowe took it.
But I think that's what's going to end up happening.
Yeah.
And you never know. Maybe this is a way to oust Hangman Page, and we could be waiting on that.
If they end up going forward with if you've been watching the Ring of Honor TV tapings that they've been posting, there was a promo that they did with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. I don't know if you got a chance to see this, but they had Adam Cole was going to kick the Young Bucks out of the Bullet Club.
Oh, I did. I heard about it. I didn't watch it.
The Young Bucks made a comment like, "Listen, there's only one leader of the Bullet Club, and we only listen to him." And then they walked out of the ring. I could see in the future, in the next couple months, them building up to a Kenny Omega Adam Cole match. Yeah. And if Hangman Page sides with Adam Cole, it's a good way to get him out.
Yeah, kind of, maybe not necessarily as bad as the split was, but with the NWO, the red versus the white, maybe they'll have something like that with the Bullet Club. But I hope not, because just call it something different. Have the former Bullet Club members and just have it something different.
Absolutely.
Just to keep that prestige of the Bullet Club, because it's one of the biggest things in the indies right now, if not the biggest thing.
I agree, so much so that on an unrelated, kind of related note, they're looking at building a new group in WWE's main roster. It looks like it's going to be, you especially see a lot with Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, because they've kind of had each other's back a lot, and you see them talking to Triple H. People are saying that it's going to be like Evolution 2.0. Don't call it Evolution. Call it something else. I hate when you try to reinvent something that's already been done. Rehashing
that, and there are talks, I don't know, there's a little bit of rumors on that front that they're going to have a third man be in it.
I've heard like Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne. I could see a couple different names in there. Yeah. I'd be alright with. I would really like Bobby Roode in it. I know that he's the title holder, the NXT champ, and I don't think they're going to take him off. Yeah. Well, we'll get to that later. But absolutely. I would love to see Bobby Roode with Triple H at some point in the future.
And then the next match that we have is probably, in my opinion, it's going to be match of the night. It could be match of the night. Is Cody Rhodes, or just Cody, versus Jay Lethal in the Texas Bull Rope match.
Ooh, that's your match of the night? That's what you're calling it?
I just see those two together, and
they bring a lot of passion out of each other, and I think it's going to be an interesting match. It's not often you see a Bull Rope match. I love when they bring back old gimmicks that remind me of being a kid watching wrestling, because it's not something you see often. And I don't know. I like that. Like, I like the idea of like the strap match or the Bull Rope match or something to that effect.
And this is going back to this was Cody's first match.
Yep, in Ring of Honor when he turned.
When he turned and, had his heel moment. So it's going to be kind of a redemption match, and a real good way for Jay Lethal just to kind of, lay everything out. He knows what he's getting into now, and I think it's going to progress very well for them.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to tell a good story in the match too.
Yeah.
And, there'll be some heel work from Cody Rhodes, and maybe even a little bit of like you said, redemption cheating from Jay Lethal. I could see him doing something, and I don't think it'll be like a heel turn from, but I think he could do something just to be like, screw you.
It's just kind of like how Eddie Guerrero did it when he, was a super face, but he kind of towed the line a little bit in a fun way.
Absolutely.
Get the crowd into it, look at him, and then do it.
Yeah, but I agree. And who do you think's gonna go over in that one?
I think Jay Lethal does.
Yeah.
I absolutely do. This kind of style of match, you don't necessarily see a heel like Cody Rhodes win those matches.
Yeah, it's normally the face wins a gimmick match like that.
But I do think that again I think they're going to start putting all their chips into Jay Lethal sooner rather than later. Yeah, to really try and bring back, because when he was the champion, there was a huge buzz around Ring of Honor.
Absolutely.
And I think they're going to try and push him again, maybe make him that guy, that franchise guy that they really seem to have missing it. Not missing, but they don't have.
Yeah, like now. Christopher Daniels, it's more like a... I don't want to say this, but it's more like a gimmick that he's held in the belt because he needs it and he's been there for so long. Yeah. And before that, you had Adam Cole with the belt for 3 times, which is another kind of gimmick.
A gimmick way of having a title, yeah.
But Jay Lethal really brought like honor to the belt, like no pun intended. But he definitely brought a lot of respect to that and a lot of buzz to the title. And I think that I could see him going back for the title again very soon. I do think that Jay Lethal will win that one, even though matches like that always favor the heels. In the story, they always favor the heels, but the faces usually go over, and I do believe that Jay Lethal will get the win in this one.
Yeah, it's just the way that's the one way you have to hit all corners, right?
I don't know. Some matches do it like that. Some companies do it like that, and some just have it so you can't really escape, and they go by pinfall.
Gotcha.
It doesn't say on the on the website what the finality is.
But that might be, they might dub that like a 4 corners match. The other one that I was thinking of, but still, regardless, I think that having that kind of a match really favors. It's supposed to favor the heel, but it always ends up favoring the face in the match.
Statistically speaking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Next is my actual pick for the match of the night. I think this is... I'm just a huge fan of Marty Scurll right now. And in my eyes, he can do no wrong. Him and Adam Cole... I'm just really high on these guys right now because I just listened to Adam Cole on the Stone Cold podcast, and that guy's charisma, it makes... I know he's a bad guy, heel, but when you hear him talk, he has such passion for it, and I want to like just be his friend and like pick his brain and... Yeah.
You just get on his side regardless, because again, the passion that he shows, it just oozes out of him. The guy, there's very few people that don't need to work on charisma, and it's just them. It's what they do. And he is definitely one of them.
Absolutely. And same with Marty Scurll. Like, this guy, when you just look at him, he's just so much fun to watch. Everything he does, his maneuvers in ring, not just his moves that he does, but just his mannerisms and how he moves and just the arrogance with which he goes into the ring. I think this is going to be a really fun match because you kind of have 2 heel in a match, which you don't see often.
Yeah.
And I mean... Ring of Honor kind of blurs the lines with heels and faces sometimes, and Adam Cole could technically be the face, or Marty Scurll could be the face in this match. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's for the TV title.
And I completely agree with you. I think that is another... Like, this card is stacked. And
most of their cards are stacked.
Yeah, that's true. and they have a lot of different matches where you look at it, and you're like, oh, that could steal the show.
Yeah.
And this is 100% one of them. The villain, Marty Scurll, is just... Every time I watch him, I like him more. And he just keeps climbing the ladder for me every single time he's out there. The way he plays with the crowd is amazing. Because it can go both ways. The crowd gets into it like he's a face, but then he acts completely different. And he acts like a heel. He really is the villain. I mean,
absolutely.
He comes out from his entrance. His get-ups that he has are always so unique.
Yep.
Just a very, very unique character in general, and just incredible in the ring.
Absolutely. Not to get too far off topic, but if you are a fan of us on our Facebook page, we posted the WCPW. They're doing a tournament this summer, going up to August, and it's going to be a pro wrestling world tournament. And they're going to have 8 different legs. They're going to have countries from all over the world. The first one went up this week, and the match of the night was Marty Scurll versus Zack Sabre Jr. I highly recommend that you go check that out. It's on our Facebook page. It's easy. It's free on YouTube and everything. Marty Scurll shined in that match also.
Two of the biggest names right now in UK
England,
wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to the TV title match. I see Skrull winning. I see it's going to be a good match, but I don't think that Adam Cole needs a title right now, especially with rumors swirling that his contracts are up soon in Ring of Honor, and I think a little bit later in the year in New Japan. I don't know if he has a contract in New Japan, but I know he does a lot of appearances there.
I know he has appearances. I don't think he has a definite contract. I think it was more of, he would go over there on kind of like the lending that they do with...
They have a very open door policy with Ring of Honor. And New Japan, CMLL, and Ring of Honor have a very amazing relationship.
Yeah, good working relationship. I also agree with you with Marty Scurll winning the match. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen. They could try and switch this into a quick face turn for
Scurll.
For Adam Cole.
Oh yeah.
Because they could see maybe some interference and maybe the Young Bucks come out and, really put a stamp on, hey, you're not the boss of us, and cost him this match.
That's true.
We could see that. We could see, a Kenny Omega come in and really solidify the fact that he's the leader of the Bullet Club and not Adam Cole.
Absolutely.
But I think it's going to be a fantastic match. I definitely do think that Marty Scurll just has too much momentum going right now. For him to drop the belt would be a detriment to
his character.
To his
Ring run, yeah, absolutely. And I know I'm getting my hopes up, but I would love to see an Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega match sometime in June, because I think there's the Best in the World pay-per-view coming up, and it's going to be near us, and we're going to be going to that, and it would be a blast to see those two guys tear it up in the ring.
It would be an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do some reviews or something up there.
Absolutely, of course we will. Of course.
So stay tuned for that stuff.
Absolutely. Good stuff coming. Next, we have the Ring of Honor title match, the World title match, which is going to be Christopher Daniels, the newly crowned Ring of Honor champion, hot off of his win at the 15th anniversary, where he beat Adam Cole in an amazing match, going up against Dalton Castle, who is amazingly talented in the ring. I know we say that a lot for a lot of these guys, but Dalton Castle is very charismatic and has underlooked strength. Like, he's one of the strongest dudes for his size.
Oh, absolutely.
Lots of deadlifts and stuff, and it's a lot of fun to watch all his matches. But this is going to be a very good title match. And what do you think? What do you think about this match?
I think it's going to be a fun match. I really do. I think these two guys and their personas, their charisma that they have, it's going to be a fun match. It's going to be a lot of showboating back and forth, especially with Dalton Castle and the way he does the hip thrusts and all that. I think we might see Christopher Daniels even trying doing some of that. It's going to be a really, really fun match. Probably the most fun of all the matches you'll see.
Yeah.
Especially for a title. But it's not going to take away from the in-ring, because there's going to be a point where they're going to get really serious, and it's just going to be a clinic.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Ring of Honor in general has a very good balance of like mixing comedy, getting people into the match, and then bringing up the seriousness. And these two guys, it's another face versus face match. It's going to be great. A lot of a little bit of comedy, lots of great hard work in the ring, and I see Christopher Daniels. Any other time, I would say I really want Dalton Castle to win. I really do, because I think he deserves a world title. But Christopher Daniels just got this title, and I think he deserves a run with it for a little while, and make it mean something for him. Don't just take it off him.
It's gonna be. It could go. Obviously, it's gonna go one of two ways. There's only two people in it.
Yeah.
But just think about if Dalton Castle were to win. Mm-hmm. Already announced as one of the announcers for this broadcast is going to be Colt Cabana.
Yeah.
So imagine Colt Cabana having to call the fact that Dalton Castle, who he's had such a so much turmoil in the past, happen, that he has to call the fact that he is the Ring of Honor champion.
Absolutely. Funny that you bring that up. That could be a reason that Dalton Castle loses.
Yes.
Colt Cabana's been very vocal in a lot of his matches, getting up and yelling at him, and he could cause a distraction and just...
Yeah, I could. That could be the other way that it goes, in my opinion. the way that Daniels wins, as much as, we don't want to see him win because of a distraction again. Maybe get him a clean win. I know that he had the clean win over Cole, but it was, marred with the Kaz situation.
Yes.
But, it could happen that way again, which, would be completely fine, but I do want Daniels to win this match. And again, like you, any other time I would really, really want Dalton Castle to win the strap. I think it would be so much fun just to see his title reign.
Absolutely.
With the boys, with everything that he comes out with, his entrance.
Very grandiose.
Oh my goodness, I think it would be absolutely phenomenal.
What a spectacle.
But I do think, I think Christopher Daniels pulls this one out and continues that kind of strong run that he's going on.
Absolutely, I agree. And finally, the main event for this, they're not doing the world title, which Ring of Honor doesn't always do the world title as the main event. They mix it up depending on which. They're very good at knowing what match is going to be like the send them home happy match. Yeah. And the main event for this particular pay-per-view is going to be, or iPay-per-view, or just special. I think you can watch it on the Fight Network app or Fight TV.
And also, I think they're going to have it on Ring of Honor's website.
Yeah, absolutely. But the main event is going to be the tag team ladder match between the Hardys and the Young Bucks, which the last time you saw them was in a Las Vegas street fight.
The triple threat match.
Yep, but there was ladders involved, and it was a lot of fun, and that was
brutal.
A fun mess.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be more of the same. Young Bucks are going to do a lot of high spots. Hardys are going to be crazy and get the crowd into it. What do you think going into this?
I think the same. I think it's going to be, mostly Young Bucks doing a lot of different things, a lot of different flying around, using the tables, using the ladders, and then we will have some spots with obviously the Hardys using the ladders and stuff like that. But
you'll get Jeff jumping off something high.
Something high, yeah. He'll get like a 97-foot ladder and just fall off the top of it for no reason.
Just because.
But I think it's going to be a fun match. It's still kind of interesting to see the Hardys without the broken moniker.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of in limbo right now, if you ask me. Their characters are at the stage where it's like they could really progress if they were the broken Hardys still. And it's kind of like are people going to forget and just not care about that gimmick by the time that this settlement with TNA kind of goes away, which we're still not sure about.
Yeah, I think at this point it's more of spite on TNA's part.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like they're just trying to hurt the Hardys, not necessarily like actually get. Because if they got that, if they stopped the Hardys from using that gimmick, it doesn't benefit them in any way.
Nope.
It's solely to hurt the Hardys, and
they're upset that the Hardys left.
Yeah.
And they are trying to...
In our opinions, we don't know.
Oh, yeah, no. It's completely opinion-based.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I think that it's just that they kind of... They're crying in the corner right now. They don't know what to do. And they're just kind of falling apart. And that's like the one thing they're trying to do to keep them in the news. As negative as it is, they're trying to stay, TNA is doing this. Yeah. And it's still a way to get people to talk.
Yeah, it's petty, but you're right. I agree. So who do you think's going to go over in this match?
I think the Young Bucks. I really do. I think the Young Bucks win and really solidify themselves as, tag champs. Mm. They don't need it, but it would help build their character, especially with the comments that Adam Cole made about, kicking them out because they keep losing, and, they even keep mentioning how they're losing weight.
Yeah, because they're losing their titles.
They're losing all of their titles. They don't have any of their titles left.
Absolutely.
So I do think that they win this one, especially with, with all the rumors and stuff about the Hardys moving on from Ring of Honor, and this was just kind of a nice thing to do to keep going the world, tag team champ.
Yep. And it brought some eyes to Ring of Honor because
Yep.
the Hardys bring a lot of eyes wherever they go.
Yep.
I agree with that statement. I don't necessarily agree with the winner of the match. I think that the Hardys will keep the belts for a very selfish reason. I think that the Young Bucks could use to stay without the belts for a while. I think they need to build up the story. Don't give them the belts right back, and then they just lost all these belts a month or two ago. I don't think they need to just win them all right back. I think they need to stay humble. But you're right. The rumors are that the Hardys are going to. I'm not a fan of rumors though.
Oh, me neither. But
because then if they don't go to WWE, people are disappointed, and then if they do go, people are like, oh, it's predictable.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just completely negate that. I think story-wise, it would be far better for the Young Bucks to lose and then give them a little bit of... It would give them an eye-opening and give them a reason to, like, buck up. No pun intended. Oh, that was a good one. And just kind of put a little bit more passion into it. Because right now they have a lot of fun with what they do, and it seems like they don't care because they make money. But it would be nice to see them have a little bit of a harder edge.
It would make sense if they lost. Don't get me wrong. I think that it would absolutely... still work story-wise, and especially if they're bringing in, if they decide to bring in, or if he agrees to go as Kenny Omega, kind of just to be like, okay, now I'm here.
Yeah.
This can't happen anymore.
Yeah.
This is my way now. We're not gonna, keep this. The Bullet Club doesn't lose.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, we need to get stuff together. We need to get our...
Reinvigorate, the Bucks, and maybe even, prove that Adam Cole isn't the leader and all that stuff kind of could fall into place.
Absolutely. No, I think storyline-wise, everything would line up if the Young Bucks didn't win.
Yeah.
But that being said, the Hardys could easily take this.
The Bucks.
The Bucks could easily take this and just get their belts back and then just go on their winning streak, and it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps it up for the Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor pay-per-view that's going to be happening this weekend. That's April 1st. The same night as actually the next thing that we're going to be going over. But it's if you have on demand or pretty much just watch everything online. You can watch it at your own time.
Yeah.
Especially if you have the network, you can watch NXT whenever. Switching gears, we're going to start talking about NXT's Takeover. In my opinion, much like last Takeover they did right before January, this one doesn't have too much hype behind it. Honestly, if it's the same as last Takeover that they did, there wasn't a lot of hype going into it, but I was pleasantly surprised that I think every match delivered far beyond expectations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that NXT seems to be struggling a little bit with build-up.
Yeah.
And keeping build-up, because, there's a lot of different moving variables going on, and it's just, they've been hit with a bit of the injury bug that seems to be plaguing, the entirety of WWE.
Yes.
But I do think that they have the talent in place, and some of the matches that we're going to talk about in place, to where the build-up really doesn't need to be over the top in order to make them have great matches.
Yeah.
Which would be very good, because the Takeover events are usually top-notch.
Oh, absolutely.
And they usually, even the ones before Mania have sometimes surpassed Mania itself.
Absolutely. I think the worst Takeover is better than, maybe a third of the WWE pay-per-views a year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I definitely have good hopes for going into this. But yeah, so let's kick things off looking at this with... We have a mixed tag match, a 4-on-4 mixed tag match with Sanity. That's Eric Young, Killian Dane, Nikki Cross, and I always want to say Alex Wolf, but it's not. It's the Sawyer Fulton.
No, it's Wolf.
It's Wolf?
It's Wolf.
Okay.
Sawyer Fulton was the one that was originally in it,
and then
I believe, and he got hurt.
I apologize if that is wrong, and I
believe it's Alexander Wolf.
Okay, I hope so, because I think I always mess that up. But they're going against Roderick Strong, No Way Jose, Ty Dillinger, and the recently acquired and introduced Ruby Riott, who is a very similar, the opposite kind of Nikki Cross. She's another crazy high energy female that's going to bring balance to this insane force that is this mishmash of men.
Yeah.
It's like a ragtag group.
This match has so much going on.
Yeah.
All at once. It's going to be interesting to see how it all clashes together. This is probably, looking at the the card here, is probably the one that they spent the most time on.
Oh, they've done a lot with this match. They've built up the story very well. So much so that like almost every week of NXT, they've done some mash of the two teams between Sanity and Strong and No Way Jose, and there's gonna be a better way to say all those guys' names.
Yeah.
And Ty Dillinger, but I think that
NXT faithful.
Yeah, they did. This is the one that has the most story, I think, and with the Roderick Strong injury that they played off, and him coming back, and then Ty Dillinger at the last takeover trying to fight them by himself, and like finding these guys to help him, and then finally getting Ruby Riott to even the odds.
Connor, Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Well, what are your thoughts on this match? What do you think's gonna really go down with how they're gonna handle having all these people? And
I don't know. I think it's just gonna be. It sucks because Roderick Strong is not my favorite wrestler. I respect him a lot, and what he does in the ring is amazing. But for some reason, he's very generic to me. I've said this for a long time. He's always like generic wrestler number 2, and I've recently heard a lot of other people say this. So it came to my surprise that I'm not the only one. But Ty Dillinger's been on a roll lately, and No Way Jose kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit for the mid-card on NXT. But they're all good in-ring talent. And then on the other end, you have Eric Young, who is amazing in-ring, and sounds like when he's on promo, he sounds like he swallowed glass chased with sandpaper.
It's like he smoked an entire carton of cigarettes before he does every promo.
He has the raspiest voice. And then you have Killian Dane, who's single-handedly beaten a tag team or two, and then you have Alex Wolf or Sawyer Fulton, whatever one it is, and I apologize. And then Nikki Cross, who's been prominent in the female division of NXT, and I think that we just went over all those guys so many times, but I think that they all have a lot to show, and I think it's going to be a good match. I hope they all get their stuff in. And I would like Sanity to go over, but I honestly see the other team going over because they need it for the story.
Yeah, they definitely need it for the story, and I agree with you 100%. I think that, believe it or not, I think that Ty Dillinger finally gets a pin over Eric Young.
All right, yeah.
I think that would really solidify,
what he's been working for.
His... trying to overcome Sanity. There could be some twists involved, but I overall I think it'll be a good match. There's a lot of in-ring talent there, a lot.
Absolutely, it's just piled in there.
Crowd's gonna get into it when No Way Jose comes out, and just like they always seem to do. He's very energetic, very dance oriented.
Yeah,
but
lots of charisma.
But he's not really like Fandango in the sense where
it's just dancing to his own rhythm.
Yeah, he's just, that's just kind of how he is. He just comes out and...
Absolutely.
But I do think that Dillinger and his squad end up winning this one, especially...
The D squad?
Yeah.
No.
The perfect tens. I don't know what you would want to call
No, but you make a good point that it would be a good finality to his feud that he's been having with Sanity, and
it's not going to drag it along.
No,
I think this is the finale of Ty Dillinger versus Sanity, one way or another. And I think that with the new addition of Ruby Riott, they're going to kind of cancel out Nikki Cross, and that's going to be a big talking point for a while. But I think it'll be a good match. It's hard to have a mixed tag 4-on-4 match, though. But I think that they can pull it off.
Yeah, I agree. So the next match on the card is the Andre Cien Almos versus the in-ring debut of Aleister Black, formerly known as Tommy End. And I think that this is just going to be a fun match. Andre Cien Almos has been growing on me a lot lately. I haven't been the biggest fan of him in the past, but I think that he's definitely shown, especially with his most recent match. Although I said that when he fought Roderick Strong, like, I really liked that match that they had, and it kind of turned me on to Cien Almas. And but recently he had a match with Oney Lorcan, who, that guy, man, he is
just intense,
and I think he is subtly getting the biggest push in NXT. Like, he has been winning most of his matches, like 90% of his matches, and people are starting to buzz around him about him. But like he beat Ty Dillinger in one of his matches when people thought he was a job. Like, he's been buzzworthy, and I think that he definitely had an amazing match with Andre. And I think that Aleister Black's probably going to get the win in this match, but not to the discredit of Almas. I think that he will definitely get a chance to show what he can do once again.
I agree with you. It's a debut match, so you don't really, especially on a takeover, you know, they're obviously going to try and boast Aleister Black, you know, put him up. You don't really want to have, if you're going to have him on the day, his debut is the day before WrestleMania. Obviously, they have some sort of plan with him. And I think that Cien Almas he's finally adapted into just accepting his character. And he had a little bit of early on in his, he had like 6 different names where they couldn't really figure out what they were going to do with him.
Yep.
But, you know, this arrogant kind of no one can beat me, you know, Cien Almas is very good for him. And it's kind of happened after he had his match, if I can remember. He had his match with Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
It was kind of the turning point for me with him. But he has had some phenomenal in-ring matches in recent memory. But I do think that this is going to be a very, very good match. But I just feel like Aleister Black's going to win.
While you were talking, I was just thinking that this is kind of almost comparable to last year before WrestleMania, where they had Sami Zayn versus Nakamura, and Sami Zayn very much is a similar style to Andre Cien Almas, and Nakamura's kind of strong style, and so is Tommy End. He's a little bit more kickboxy and strikes, but very similar with the strong style, and I could see a very similar type match like they had last year with Zayn and Nakamura, and Black just getting the showcase for his debut.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was a match of the year candidate.
Yeah.
So, you know, if they can pull that off, it's going to be they're going to steal the show, and it's going to be match of the night.
Of course, and I really hope that things go well for Aleister Black in his NXT run, because I'm a big fan of Tommy, and I haven't been watching him for a long time, but about last March or so, I first heard his name. And I looked into him, and I watched a ton of his stuff, and he's incredible.
Funny that it's actually not going to be his WWE debut, because he had the match with Neville.
Yep, at the UK
tournament as Tommy Black.
But this will be Aleister. No, as Tommy End.
Tommy End, I'm sorry.
But this will be Aleister Black's debut.
Yeah. So I just mixed them together. It's the same
I know what
person.
you mean. Yeah, it's gimmicks dumb. After that, we have probably, which is expected to be match of the night, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of these other matches stole the show.
Yeah.
Is going to be the 3-way elimination match for the tag team titles. It will be the Authors of Pain versus DIY versus the Revival. All of these guys, even Authors of Pain, who are still new. They haven't been around for too long. I want to say about a year, and still new to the business. And for big guys, a big tag team especially, you don't see too many big tag teams that have that are memorable like recently.
Yeah, especially with the amount of power that they seem to bring. It hasn't been one for a very long time.
Absolutely, and they are only getting better. But obviously you have Gargano and Ciampa, and then you have Dawson and Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, and those guys put on a 5-star match any day of the week.
I'm pretty sure they can do it in their sleep.
Yeah,
pretty sure they have.
Yeah. So that's going to be an awesome match. And what do you think about this match, Mitch?
This is probably the most intriguing match on the card for me, because I can see it going different ways.
Yeah.
You know, it would be very interesting for me to see who gets eliminated first. Then that's kind of how I feel like the match is going to progress. we could see, DIY win their second NXT tag team titles easily. But, it would probably be at a, are they really going to let Authors of Pain lose their first match? How are they going to really do it? It would have to be with the other 4 men trying to just take them out.
Yeah, so you see them being eliminated first. That would be an interesting way to go into it.
If not, then I do think the Authors of Pain will end up winning. I don't think the Revival is going to win this match. I think they're in it specifically to just spice up the match and just kind of have a good send-off for them, because I think they're on their way up.
They should have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
Up on the main roster, because they are very deserving of it.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later at a different date. But I honestly thought you were going to pick DIY, but I might have to agree with you. I was hoping there'd be one match that we disagreed on. But I do think that the Authors of Pain... I actually might change my opinion on another match then because of this. The Authors of Pain, I think that it would just solidify them. They're still young. I don't think that it would hurt DIY to lose this match. I expect a Revival to be gone up to the main roster, so I think that they don't really have a chance to win. If they win, I would be disappointed because
it would just be keeping
it would
them
just
there.
be like, oh, they're keeping them there.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know we have a difference of opinion on this, but we want to see him on the main roster. I think you said you want to see him on SmackDown. I personally think they'd be better on Raw, because on SmackDown they're going to fight with the Alpha, who they've already had a feud with.
See, this was before when Alpha still had the titles, and I really think that they could have spiced up Alpha to really bring out the best in them, not only in ring, but on the mic as well, because the Revival, they're just so good everywhere.
Yeah, and I think that the Revival could definitely bring a lot more to Raw, because I think that they could have great matches with Luke and Gallows, Sheamus and Cesaro. Yeah. I think they could tear it up with the New Day. I think that would be an amazing feud.
Yeah.
So
the back and forth would be great.
Yeah, and man, those guys on the mic are so underrated. I know me and you love them.
I love them.
But
they're so good.
They're so good on the mic. They're incredible all around. But yeah, so I'm going to have to agree with you on Authors of Pain. That being said, I'm actually going to go back and switch the... This is tough, but I think that the next team I would like to see them feud with would be Sanity. And I think that would be a good match with Authors of Pain and Sanity, because then you'd have Authors of Pain or just...
Yeah. Which members of Sanity? Is it going to be
Killian Dane and Eric Young?
And Eric, yeah, okay.
Or even Wolf, or Fulton, whatever his name is.
Whichever one it is.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those would be great. I think that they would be just car wrecks of matches, and it would be fun to watch. It would bring a lot of interesting
aspects.
Just aspects to the tag team title match. Something different than from what we've gotten. I know it's bad to say, but like with Revival and DIY, I think we've been spoiled so much that you can't really go anywhere from there. I think you need to bring it down a little bit and then have it grow. Yeah.
Absolutely. They've put on too many. I mean, if it's getting to the point where we're really complaining about how many 5-star matches these guys are putting on.
It's amazing. It's amazing that WWE as a whole voted on Match of the Year, and it went to the 2 out of 3 falls match they had, and it was incredible. That won NXT's Match of the Year. It was amazing. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Authors of Pain in this. I'd like to see them feud with Sanity afterwards.
That would be a cool feud. I would absolutely love to see that.
Up next we have the NXT Women's Title match with Asuka versus Ember Moon. Going into this, Asuka is very confident, and I think that it's pretty obvious that she's going to take Ember Moon for granted. And I like that they've built her up as a cocky, arrogant person that no one can compete with her. And to this point, no one has. And I think it would be I'm just going to give my opinion on this match right now. I think Ember Moon's going to win, maybe with a quick roll-up. I don't think she's going to hit her finisher. And then at the next takeover, I think they'll have a little bit better of a rematch.
I think this will be a very good match. Mm-hmm. Although I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh, what? Look at that.
I think I'm going to disagree with you. I think Asuka's going to not only win, but she's going to kick out of the Eclipse.
Oh, really?
Yes. she's going to get hit with the finisher, and she's going to kick out.
Oof.
And that's going to put in an even more mystique about her. What is it going to take to finish Asuka? And then I think the actual finish is going to be a great one if it's pulled off correctly.
Yeah.
I think that Ember Moon would go up and maybe try a second Eclipse, and that's where she gets caught and gets it turned into the Asuka lock, and then doesn't tap, but the ref ends up having to stop the match.
Okay. That'd be an interesting take on it.
Because I think that they really, really like the intrigue of someone, it doesn't matter who, even if it, being a woman, someone getting closer to the Goldberg streak.
She's almost past it. I'm pretty sure she's almost past it.
Very close to it. She's getting there.
Yeah.
Because she has not lost since being in the WWE. So I think that they kind of want that. They want that intrigue. They want that to be another thing that they own. It's not a WCW streak anymore.
Yeah.
It's a WWE streak.
That's an intriguing point.
Maybe there's another element into it that, eventually I think Ember Moon is going to win the women's title. And it's going to be off of Asuka, I would assume. But, they could do something where Asuka just vacates the title.
You know what? That's an interesting way. I think if... I know that you're not a big fan of her, but I think that the person that should defeat Asuka is Charlotte. I'm a huge fan of Charlotte. I think that she's...
That would be an interesting thing, too.
Come far. I don't think they've ever faced in ring. I know Asuka's beaten Bayley, and Bayley's not beaten Asuka. She hasn't beaten Asuka. She beat Bayley twice. I think Asuka would have a good match against Sasha Banks if Sasha was a heel. But then Asuka's kind of a heel right now. Yep. It'd be weird. But I think that Charlotte needs to be the one to beat Asuka. I'm still going to stick with Ember Moon just because of the way that Asuka's been portrayed in this, because she's been seen sitting on the beach drinking drinks and then her last match was against pretty much a nobody and she just beat her really quickly.
Very cocky right now. Very, very cocky.
And I think that would be the way. Maybe she can come back and destroy her later, but I think that Ember Moon gets a quick roll-up victory on her. So that's good that we have a little bit of disagreement on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lastly is our main event, which is a rematch from last TakeOver, which was a far better match than I expected it to be. I was not expecting near the caliber of match that these two men had, even though I know both guys are amazing and they can put on a great show. And at first, I thought it was going to be just their theme songs and showboating. Yeah. But these guys really brought it, and they told a good story with the knee injury to Nakamura, and Bobby Roode taking advantage of that. And I think that this is going to be more of the same. I think it's going to be a far better match than last time, even though I can't really imagine. Those guys kind of left it all out there.
They did.
I think that Nakamura will bring in a little bit more intensity and not kind of write off Bobby Roode the way he did. What do you think about this match?
I think it's going to be very good, but at the same time, it's weird for me. Mm-hmm. They had a perfect situation to really allow Nakamura to get brought up early in, was it January?
Yeah, after it wasn't about.
Yeah, they could have just brought him up after that. Having him come back, I understand why they're doing it. It's a big show. They really don't have another face that can go up against Bobby Roode at this point. I know that Cassius Ohno just came back, but at the same time, they don't really have that star power. Mm-hmm. So they wanted it for this match, and they're gonna leave it all out in the ring. They're both phenomenal wrestlers. Bobby Roode, great, just everything about him is top tier. His in-ring psychology is very good. He plays the heel perfectly. Yeah.
He is very good at bringing the old school style to the new. Yeah, he's very, very. It's not hidden. He doesn't hide it, but he's very much like Ric Flair and Rick Rude and the cold calculating heel. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. I think he's definitely unique to today's roster that they have.
He is definitely an old school heel in a unique situation with how new heels act.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I do think that Bobby Roode gets the win in this one way or another.
Yeah.
Could be with another one of the glorious DDTs. Could be a roll up with holding on to the shorts.
I think Bobby Roode will win, but I think that he beat Nakamura so definitively last time. Yeah. Like, I know it was because like Nakamura tripped and hurt himself, and Bobby Roode just focused on that knee, but it was a clean win. Like, he got the clean 1, 2, 3 in the ring, and after focusing on the knee and really taking out Nakamura, and I feel like this match is going to be a great match, but I feel like story-wise, Bobby Roode is only going to hurt Nakamura if he loses, and if Nakamura wins, then
what's the point of the build-up of the glorious one?
Yeah.
It would really hurt Bobby Roode.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm still going to go with Roode in this. Maybe he's the champ now, so maybe he can win by DQ. Just a blatant DQ.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah. Or even a count-out. I don't think they're going to end the WrestleMania show that way, though. It's going to be a definitive win.
Yeah, I know.
For someone.
The NXT has never let us down. Like, to be fair, in all of their pay-per-views, and they've never really disappointed the fans. Yeah. Like, there's never been a match that has ended and been like, oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, did that really just happen?
Yeah,
kind of those moments.
So, you know they're going to do something good with it. Triple H has a great mind for the business. He knows what he's doing.
Yep.
And I think that it's going to be fun and it's going to be great. And I don't know why we're worried about it, because it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
They're not going to let us down.
They haven't yet. They have not yet.
So, yeah, that's going to be a fun weekend. One night, actually. All one night.
All in one night. Leading up to WrestleMania.
And
WrestleMania's got work to do already.
This is... I always think that, especially the last 3 years, going up to WrestleMania, that, like... It doesn't feel like WrestleMania. It's not the same. But man, that week before WrestleMania always gets me. I was at work today and I was just so hyped, thinking about like all the stuff that's gonna happen. We're gonna have the Go Home Raw, the Go Home SmackDown. You're gonna have NXT going home. Then you're gonna have like the Hall of Fame ceremony. You're gonna have NXT Takeover, and you're gonna have WrestleMania. And even if the matches aren't great, it's gonna be fun. It's a blast.
Yeah, I was at work yesterday and I was doing the same thing. I was like, 8 days till WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Well, it might be longer when this comes out. I'm not sure, but it's I can't wait. I can't. It's fun. It's always great. That week before is always one of my favorite weeks.
Absolutely, and it's weird because like Royal Rumble's my favorite pay-per-view, but like WrestleMania always gets you in that spirit. It's amazing.
It gets you. It's that spirit. It's something about it. I don't know what it is.
Wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Gotta love it.
Absolutely.
All right, so after that's it for this week. We're going to come back next week sometime with a follow-up and let you guys know the review and recap of both Supercard of Honor and the NXT Takeover special.
Yes, absolutely.
And I have a couple other things planned that I'd like to talk about eventually in the future, looking at some of the Pro Wrestling World Tournament that they're doing, that WCPW is doing.
Yeah, we'll definitely get on that as well.
Some New Japan stuff, the G1's coming up this summer I'd like to talk about. But we're going to be here for your news and highlights of the independent scene, NXT, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. Yep. Maybe some WCPW because they're taking off really big.
Yeah, they're starting to get up there.
Anything noteworthy and newsworthy we'll be here to talk to you about. So for Scumbag Mike and Mitch, we are out of here. Have a good week.
Take care, guys.